for Spiritual Living Leesburg. The theme for the month, let me start with the year. The theme for the year of 2023 is Living Out Loud. And the theme for the month of September is Love Out Loud. The title of our talk today is Love on a Spectrum, and it will be given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We are so glad that you joined us here today, that you took time out of your schedule to just come and join us as we celebrate Love Out Loud. If you have any prayer concerns or celebrations, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will include them later when we do our affirmative prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment, and that will be later in our service. So for now, we're going to show you a video as we officially kick off our service. So sit back, relax, and we're so glad that you're here. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. And now it's time for our meditation. So the title of our talk today is Love on a Spectrum. And I had this in mind as I put together this meditation for us. So begin by just settling into a chair, in your body. Our image that we have, it's perfect, perfect. Inhale, hold it, exhale. Do that again. Inhale, hold it. We slow our breathing, we focus on our breathing, and it helps us get into the perfect meditative state. So now at the start of our meditation, I'm going to have you do a lot of visualization through this meditation today. So you might just want to close your eyes, although, Charlene, I'm really loving these images. If that helps you with your focus, please keep your eyes open. But I'm going to ask you to visualize that beautiful box of Crayola crayons from your childhood. And I'm talking about the 64 count, with its pencil sharpener, the crayon sharpener in the back. Just, it's brand new, and you're holding it in your hands. you just received it. Maybe somebody bought it for you for a special occasion. It was your birthday or a holiday. Or maybe somehow you saved up your allowance and you have this beautiful brand new box of crayons in your hand. And as you open the lid, you realize that this is it. It's never, ever been used before. All 64 crayons are standing there perfectly lined up, and they have that point with a little dull, flat surface at the top, but no crayon has ever been used before. It's all yours. And now I want you to picture a coloring book, a page in a coloring book, or a piece of paper that you're going to use, and you're going to select one of those crayons. Is it a brilliant pink? Is it a cornflower blue? Is it sienna? I used to love to read the name, but they were so fun and unique and perfect because they really describe the color. You don't have just one blue. You have this beautiful array of blues, from the softest powder blue to the deepest midnight blue. So select one crayon, hold it in your hand, look at how perfect, never been used before. Down at your coloring book or your piece of paper and begin to use your crayon to color in. Maybe filling in the shape of a beautiful scenic picture. Maybe it's geometric figures. Maybe it's clouds. Maybe it's a beautiful sunrise or a sunset. Animal out in the forest. Maybe it's a favorite Disney character. That was one of my favorite coloring books. And color, just feel how that crayon glides across the paper and how the paper is transforming from all lifeless, colorless sheet of paper to now it has a bit of color. And as you finish up with that crayon, that color, put it back into its spot and select another color and take that to your paper. And once again, notice how that crayon just, it's a perfect color. Fly across the paper. And your paper again is transforming. Life work. Now, colors added. Finish up that color. Go back to your box of crayons. And select a new color. What color you choose? Take that crayon to your paper. Are you coloring in a small space that's on your paper? Or are you coloring in a big, big space? You are the artist. You get to select the colors. You get to select where they go. And you get to decide. Nobody says a leaf has to be green, right? Especially now as we're approaching autumn. Leaves are all different colors. And if you want a purple leaf, it can be a purple leaf. If you want a black leaf, it can be a black leaf. You are the creator. You get to decide. And again, notice how your paper is just transforming. What was dull, what was lifeless, which had no color, is now filling up. And because we have a message and music today, let's take one more crayon out of our box. And look down at your paper, decide where this color is going to go. And color in. And that paper is just coming to life with all the beautiful colors. You might have finished your picture. You might have created a beautiful masterpiece. Perhaps you're just getting started. but notice how all these beautiful colors are needed to paint this picture, to create this picture. And look once again at that beautiful, beautiful box of crayons, 64 colors. Aren't you so glad that you're not limited to 8? Remember the little school pack where you only got 8 colors? No, no, no. You have a beautiful box with all these gorgeous colors. And this is how I view love. Love is a spectrum. This is how I view each and every one of us. And our divine creator is not limited to just one crayon. Is not limited even to an 8-pack. That's all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colors to fill up our lives, to fill up our world. How wonderful. All right, as you take one more look at your painting, your picture, I call it a painting. Take a deep breath in and just use this meditation to guide you as you listen to the wonderful music that we have waiting for you.
Good morning, everyone. Tamara, that was such a perfect image. I didn't expect to be brought back to that, but I remember that joy of a fresh box of crayons. That is so fresh and vivid. Thank you so much. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Just as you are without changing a thing, just as you are, I accept you. I see you, I hear you, I welcome you in, just as you are, just as you are, just as you are without changing a thing, just as you are, I accept you. I see you, I hear you, I welcome you in, just as you are, just as you are, just as you are without changing a thing, just as you are, I accept you. I see you, I hear you, I welcome you in, just as you are, just as you are, just as you are, just as you are.
That was amazing. This is one of those mornings where I'm just like, okay, let's pass the plate around. Service is over. You guys both just warmed my heart. Tamara's beautiful meditation. And then that song, which was perfect. Leah, I don't know how you do it. You're a magical being. So I get to ride that beautiful wave like we saw at the end of the video series, just that beautiful calm sea of equanimity to just slide in a message. And the message I have for you today is, I want to just call it, what are we doing? Because love is all we need. And I know it sounds so pithy. It sounds so trite. And it sounds so, what's the word that we use when it's just a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Love. And in case you don't remember, if you haven't been to a wedding in the past few months, I'm going to read to you the most quoted Corinthians section in the Bible, the beautiful writing that we read in every union between two humans. It goes something like this. It's Corinthians 13, and it's verses 1 through 9. He says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, Have I not love, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and I understand all mysteries and knowledge, and though I have faith to move mountains, have I not love, I am nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love envies no one. Love is never boastful. It's not conceited, nor rude, never selfish, and not quick to take offense. Love keeps no score of wrongs, does not gloat over others' mistakes, but delights in the truth. There's nothing love cannot face. There's no limit to its faith, hope, and endurance. These are three things that last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So that is something that when I read this again, I was like, oh yeah, boy, I tell you what. If everyone could just remember that, I feel like we know it at times, that the greatest energy, the most powerful force is love. If we could just remember that as we're being triggered by someone who's othered us, or by someone who wants us to fit into some mold that they've decided was the right way, not the truth, mind you, but the right way to express. If only we could remember, first of all, that the divine is at the root of all of this. And in fact, as Tamara was talking about that box of crayons, the divine did not say, I think I'm gonna limit everybody. No. If you look around just at the nature of everything, you look at biodiversity, you know for a fact that it doesn't behoove the divine to just say, oh, we'll just stick with this one thing. No way. The vast array of differences that are within a single cell, the vast array of differences in every single human being, you cannot find two that are exactly alike. Even twins are not exactly alike. Their mama knows how to tell the difference. And so we look at this, we look at life, and we see that there's a spectrum of diversity all around us. And yet we have some institutions that would like to tell us exactly how to be, as if the divine said, yes, and there's only a narrow way to exist in this world. Well, then I just question, well, then why did God create? If you want to call it God, you could call it life, you could call it the universe. Why was this creation of all this diversity? Why is it here if the intention is to just whittle away everything that's not just like everything else and narrow it inside to this one little tiny area? What if we only had those 8 crayons in the box, period? We wouldn't have life as it exists today. We could not have evolved were there not diversity in our biogenetic background. In fact, the fact that there's such biodiversity is what makes us survive calamitous things. You've seen the inbreeding that they talk about when you have one family that just inbreeds, then what happens, or maybe purebred dogs, what happens is you create a weakness. We need that crossbreeding. We need that influx of different genes in order to stay resilient to our life. Is anyone starting to make a sort of a parallel to their own life? Have we ever sat in judgment of how our life doesn't look just like someone else's? How our makeup, our body or our souls, our minds, our expression, our feelings don't exactly reflect what we think we're supposed to look like, act like, feel like, and reflect? Are we comparing ourselves to some prototype, which in and of itself is it's an amalgamation of a lot of features and doesn't really exist at all? It's just a collection of features. Are we comparing ourselves to some straw man somewhere? And then finding ourselves short, coming up short, judging ourselves for being so-called different. When the point of us is to be different, that's the point. I mean, it's amazing when we awaken to know, oh, I'm on purpose. This wholeness that I am is on purpose. Like Leah's song, just the way we are, absolutely made on purpose to fulfill a divine thing that needs us to fulfill it. How do you know it needs us to fulfill it? Well, because we're here. How do you know you're needed desperately to help this planet to evolve? Because we exist. That's how you know. So how do we do it? What do we do? Well, we take this Corinthians section talking about love, and we want to get back to definition of love, because I know people throw it around. Our English language is woefully short of other words to capture the feeling that we're talking about when we say love. The word love has been, in fact, I believe, okay, so I'm going to say a statistic and I'm going to make up a number, but you'll get my point. There are 100 different ways to say love in Chinese, but we only have one way in the English language. Now, I totally butchered it. I made up the number 100, but I know for a fact that that language has way more ways of talking about love, so that it's not just love. Because there's, oh, I love those shoes. And I love you, my dear beloved husband or wife. And then, oh, I just love my spiritual community. Now we know that those are different types of love, but we keep using that same word. So when we talk about love, by reading Corinthians, we know that it has some actions behind it. We know that it's not boastful. That feeling we have, that energy we coming from is not a boastful energy. It is more of a communal, I'm wishing well for all of us. It does not keep track of everything you did wrong. And it's not selfish, putting oneself first. Well, I need to get mine before everybody gets theirs. It doesn't take offense easily. It's really going to be hard to tick me off because I just love you. Aren't you so cute? Oh my gosh, is that a tantrum? You're adorable, is the energy. And so that's what we're talking about when we say love. In fact, Thich Nhat Hanh in the book How to Love said, true love is made of 4 elements: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Equanimity being that center space where you're not too hot, you're not too cold, you're not too angry, you're not too fearful, you're right in that, you have equanimity. So we take this definition of love from Corinthians, from Thich Nhat Hanh, and we say, all right, well, how does this show up? And let's tackle first the fact that we're here, which I already mentioned. We're here. We've got a blend of, let's call it spices. We haven't talked about spices from the spice rack, but that's another analogy. We're a combination, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a splash of cayenne pepper, that's us. And as we become more comfortable knowing ourselves, refer to last week's talk, we start to embrace all of the good, the bad, so-called bad, the dark parts, the light parts, the faux pas, the excellent parts. We begin to love ourselves in a way that we hadn't before. And how do you know you love yourself? When you're okay being by yourself, but not feeling alone. When you are alone, when you are in the best company while being alone, that's how you know you love yourself. When you just enjoy that time, getting to know yourself, laughing at your little faux pas, and yet still allowing ourselves to grow from it, but not in a demanding way. And it's tripping over something and saying, oh my gosh, I better clean up because I don't want to break a hip at this time of my, as opposed to, oh my gosh, you're such a slob. Look, you left out the sneaker and now you tripped over. What do we say to ourselves when we're by ourselves? When we change from a derisive, mean girl that lives inside to something more loving, something that's not keeping track of the errors that we've made and scolding us for the way we could have been, comparing us to some external that's when we start to realize, oh, I've got this self-love. It's coming in. And our demeanor changes, our energy changes, because once we start loving ourselves, then we can start making that the baseline for how we deal with other people, and people will learn to treat us the way we treat ourselves. So it's really important for us to love ourselves. You have this thing where, and okay, I'm talking about myself. Remember last week in the saga of Charlene's past relationships? So I remember I told you I was at a point in my life where I attracted someone who said mean things to me. I mean, at first he said great things, which is what got him inside the building. But then he started saying mean things to me. And part of me thought he was right. Part of me agreed with him. Because what happens, it's a weird magnetic human attraction thing. What we're coming from is a silent broadcast station. It's an energy, a vibration that other people pick up on. And because I was still caught up not loving myself fully, I attracted someone who could sort of smell it. He could sort of taste it. He could sort of, and then he just pulled that little thread. And so, whoop, I got one, and then started reeling me in. And I love the whole fact, because this brings me to my second point. My second point has to do with comfort versus discomfort, darkness versus so-called light. A lot of times when we're trying to be in equanimity, we have a habit of leaning towards the so-called good and then making the bad stuff something to run from. And I just want to take a moment and encourage each of us to use these so-called bad moments as a growth platform, something to stand on and grow from. Stand on that platform of pain. So there's a story about a farmer. It's kind of a horrible story, but it ends well. Listen to me. There's a farmer who could no longer afford to feed his mule. So he tricked the mule into falling into a hole, a deep hole. Some would call it a well. There's the mule at the bottom of the well with no way to get out. And this horrible farmer, I'm just going to name it, like, oh my God, you did what? All right. Listen, he goes and starts to shovel dirt into the well, a scoop of dirt at a time. Intention is to bury this animal alive. But as the farmer shovels each scoop of dirt into the well, what does the mule do? He shakes it off and steps up. Now, the farmer's not even looking. He's not looking. He's shoveling, tossing, shoveling, tossing, shoveling, tossing. I don't know how many of these times he did it, but let me tell you what, that mule stepped up, shook it off and stepped up each time. Guess what? At the end of the shoveling situation, the farmer turned around and whoop, hello. Now that's where the story ends, but in my mind, there's a little payback going on. That's neither here nor there. My point is that as the mule, there were some different ways that could have gone down. The mule could have been like, oh, no, he didn't put me in the bottom of this well. And then the mule could have just laid down and cried and just got buried. Or I love the second choice, shake it off, use it to step up. So in that relationship that I had that ended, it ended the way it ended. Well, we talked about it last week. Go back to the video if you missed it. But I used that to know that this is a signpost. Know yourself better, love yourself better, and use this as contrast. I didn't get just a terrible experience. There were some good things while I was there, and there's still some good things. Do you know what good things I learned? What traits I don't want in a partner. I got a great list now. Thank you for that experience. Now I'm going to add a few things to what not to go after. And further, every time we're uncomfortable, we have a choice. We're going to be uncomfortable, my friends. If you're growing, you're going to experience discomfort. At work, there'll be some promotion, and then you're going to feel out of your depth. That's uncomfortable. And yet we go forward because the discomfort does not last long and the rewards are great. If you're thinking about your diet and you're talking about what you're eating, it's uncomfortable to cook all the kale and eat the kale, and potato chips are a thing you can go have. But just know this, by making that sacrifice and feeling uncomfortably cravey for potato chips, that will pass. And then you'll have a healthier body that has created your cells from healthier resources. No shade to potato chips, but they should not be the daily diet. I'm just saying. And let's talk about working out or just being uncomfortable in terms of physical exertion. Let's say you're going to run a race, or you're going to swim a mile, or you're going to start lifting weights. Is it going to be comfortable while you're doing it? No. But the cool part about that is that the body adapts. The body has an amazing interrelated system that says, I better put together what it takes. If she's going to be doing this regularly, I better put together what I need to be able to handle this kind of stress. I'll, increase my VO2 Vox, that the ability to take in oxygen and use it efficiently. That will get better as I keep running. The ability to lift more weights, the fascia in the muscles will start to build more using protein in the body because it realizes there's going to be a heavy load put on this muscle, so I better grow. So cognitively, if you're just starting school, you're back at school again, and it's a little bit intimidating, all these books, all this homework, but cognitively, your mind and your body will say, all right, let's get it together. The brain will build new pathways because it knows there's going to be a cognitive load placed on it. It's amazing how much we can adapt to our growth, how much we can use what stress is put on us and build strength from that stress. So we are not a group of people that shy away from the hard things. Not at all. We look at what it is in front of us, what it is that makes us uncomfortable, and we walk forward anyway, because this is how that equanimity stays. This is how we gain that equanimity. We put ourselves a little bit uncomfortable, and then the middle slides a little bit, and you're growing on purpose. Now, all of this is not to say it's going to be easy, because we've got to understand that love is expressing itself. It's expressing itself through everybody, not just through us. And if we can know that box of crayons, that 64, that beautiful box, I remember ripping open the plastic cellophane on the outside of that box and then opening it up and going, so crayons. Listen, that experience, every single color in that box, each one of those crayons, each one of those options are equally amazing. And we look at our humans, we look around in the spectrum of color. There are interracial couples that have beautiful ranges of colors. Within every race, there's a skin tone, a pigment, from the deepest, most gorgeous dark color all the way to the palest of the pale. And there is no preference in the divine. The divine doesn't prefer a particular shade of pink, a particular shade of tan. No, we create that as a culture. So as we look upon the spectrum of color, we know that there is no division in divine. The divine is everywhere. It's in every race. There's not one elevated over the other. We look in terms of gender. And even though socially, in some countries, and even in this one, women may be given different treatment, treated a certain way because of their gender. And then the denial of all the other genders, the sticking to the binary gender, that's another situation. Well, does the divine have such clear-cut division? No. The divine expresses itself through every expression of gender. And speaking of gender, that's not the same thing as sexual preference. And it's not the same thing as sex. Like in another talk, I'll give you the genderbread session where we could take there's a gingerbread man gingerbread person and we talk about what's gender, what's sexuality, what is sex, and what's relationships, they're different. They're different. And so that whole spectrum is love, love, love all in and through that. Although some people, if they don't love exactly the way that society tells them, then they're shunned because they're other. Well, the divine is present in every choice, in every monogamous, polyamorous, lesbian, gay, trans, and any expression of love in relationship is held deeply and dearly by the divine. How do we know? Because it's here. If it exists, it's on purpose and it's loved by the divine. So it's our job to knock away any barriers to accepting that and just allowing ourselves to go back to what it says in Corinthians. Be kind. Let's be kind. Let's not count all the ways in which this particular gender has done us wrong. This particular race has it wrong. Let's not count the faults. Let's not take quick offense at anything that's not directly having to do with us. Why would I see people who are offended because there's a show, because it represents a gay character who actually kisses his husband and people are upset. Why are you upset? It has nothing to do with it. Why take offense at things that just exist, just for existing? There's no reason to do it. And so to be able to let go of some of that means that we free ourselves up to really start to groove and start to vibrate in that loving energy that we were meant to vibrate. The divine is giving us so much to work with. And for us to be able to expand our ideas of love to include everyone, as opposed to, well, not you, yes, nope, not you. We have the ability to include because our hearts can grow infinitely and include everyone in there. It doesn't take anything away. Like they say, it's free to be kind. It costs nothing to be kind. And if we can do that on a moment by moment basis from day to day, start to expand our awareness of what's more to love, watch how the universe simply changes. Because it's as if the divine says, oh yeah, thank you. That's what I came here to do. Thank you for getting out of the way. So I'll close with this one quote. In Science of Mind, page 460, Ernest Holmes says, God is love and God is law. The love of God is omnipresent and the law of God is omnipresent. Love and law. The love of God is the divine givingness, get this last sentence, the eternal outpouring to spirit through its creation. Through its creation. The love of God is the divine givingness. It outpours itself through its creation. That means it does that through us. And if we can just simply get what Troward calls our bloated nothingness out of the way, then we can become even more the portal through which God shows its love. So let's do that. Let's go within for prayer. Let me check for my prayer requests. I see some. So going within, just knowing that there's only one divine energy, and that is the love, the universal, omnipresent spirit of love that is in and through and as all beings. There's no separation, and this love, this presence, this life is through all things, which means everyone is right in the midst of the presence of the divine. There's no place we can go where the divine is not. It is in the darkness. It is in the light. It is in the depths of the ocean, and it is in the height of the highest mountain. It's everywhere. This omnipresent, loving energy is right here, right at hand. Some of the mystics say that it is nearer to us than our very neck vein. It is closer to us than our hands and our feet. How close is that? That's pretty close. So we are one with this divine presence. And knowing that we are one with it, we know that we also have access to all that is. We are the children of the divine. We are a small piece of that overarching oversoul. And so what can we do with that? Simply turning and knowing the truth about ourselves means that we have access to all of the love, all of the power, all of the peace. Are we in need of abundance? It is right here. Every single person has access to this divine beingness. And so I speak my word individually. I speak my word for Layla, that there is clarity right here and right now. She is clear and decisive about exactly what is in front of her right here and right now. I speak my word that any clouds of uncertainty simply dissipate in the presence of the pure truth and the light of the divine. I know that wherever she is clearly guided with an almost palpable conversation with the divine as it guides her steps forward. Because that's what it does. That's what it is. I speak my word for Mafi, that there is resilience in her, that right here, right now, no matter how many shovels of anything get poured on, Mafi has the steadfastness and the purposefulness to shake it off and use it to elevate every single time, because the divine, this life is expressing in and as Mafi, and everything she touches is turning toward the highest. Everything is working together for her highest good. And anyone else who has a prayer request that has not been spoken out loud, I just know that right here, right now, the perfect path is unfolding. And we have the vision to see those beautiful golden breadcrumbs that say, follow me. And we don't have to know the whole path, just that next step. Just that next step, that's all we need to do, because the universe is unfolding as we move through it. It is an interactive process. And so I'm so grateful for the awareness to be able to know that this is happening right now, that everything is working together for all of our greatest good. And so I simply let that be. I rest my word into the law, knowing that the law always says, yes, ma'am. I release it, I let it go, and so it is. Ashe. All right, Leah's turn. Let me unmute you. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I get you? Hold on, I didn't unmute you. I'm so sorry. Something's happening. Okay, go for it.
All right. I know everyone knows this song. Please sing with me. Think of each other and in love a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. This is no time to wait. Oh, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day goes by, you hear somebody cry. Put a little love in your heart. We want the world to know we're all here to learn and grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I know that you will decide kindness
Thank you so much, Leah. Oh my gosh, what fantastic music today. And thank you, Charlene. Oh my gosh, your message was just, like I said in the chat, just so powerful today. Guys, this is why we do this. This is why we come here. Doesn't your battery feel like it's just got recharged? I mean, to the ceiling. Ah, all right. Now is the time that we bless our donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation, just like you heard in our opening video. We are a tithing community. We know that the donations that are shared with us bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. And it doesn't stop here. Your donations help us do what we do each Sunday, or whenever you're watching us, you get this message, you get the music. But also we give to other organizations such as our home organization and other organizations around the world and locally that support our mission of helping to create a world filled with love, a world that works for everyone. So there's so many ways that you can give. I know you found a way that works for you. So however you are donating today, just kind of place that against your heart and join me in our blessing of our gifts. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, say it loud and proud, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. All right, all right, all right. You know what time it is now. It's time for announcements. So did you remember? I hope you did, because I forgot and I made a sticky note now. I'm showing you. Here's my sticky note. All right. On Saturdays, I'm going to put that on my calendar so I don't forget. At 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Charlene joins her friends. I heard there was a great turnout yesterday. Good idea to move this to Saturday when more people can join. Discuss your dreams, share dreams, help interpret dreams. And sometimes you just need that. We're always getting messages, even when we're sleeping, and our divine is guiding us, and that can happen through our dreams. And next Sunday is the message. The message is love thy neighbor. So we said, hey, let's make it a special Sunday where you invite a friend, bring a friend to come to service, and we'll have a little something extra next Sunday to welcome guests. And I feel like there should be a drum roll. Today is Lunch Bunch. So if you are in the Leesburg area or can get to the Leesburg area kind of quickly at 1:30, the folks are going to meet at Wegmans in the village of Leesburg. And you buy your lunch, you go upstairs in the dining room area, and you just look around and you'll see some very familiar faces. And it's always just a wonderful time of fellowship and laughter and friendship. And there's usually some great book suggestions, movies to watch, upcoming events. And it's just nice to have this opportunity to get together in person, although we love our online friends too. So I think that's it for today. Some folks are going to have to leave quickly because they got to hop in their car and get over to Leesburg. I'm not going today, so if anybody wants to stay a little extra, I don't know if that's possible. Charlene, can I just end the meeting?
We'll see. You're fine.
Okay, we'll see. So anyway, let's just end this all. If you'd like to hang out a little bit and share pearls, what really resonated with you from our meditation or message or music, share that as we just hang out a little bit. And if you have to go, I understand like it's game day, or maybe you have some other things you have to do, know that we send you off with our blessing and love. But first, our closing affirmation. Put your hands once again on your heart. Just give yourself a big old hug. I love what Charlene said. When we start loving ourselves, our energy changes. Oh, so true, so true. So repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I could tell you meant it. That's nice. All right, now look at somebody in the room with you or on camera or just sending it out. We know that we're all connected, and say, you are love.
You are love.
I felt that. And now put your hands up in the air and join me as we say, it's all love.
It's all love.
It's all love. And I know that music is going to stay with you. I'll be singing that last song, Leah, for the rest of the day. So if you can stay, stay. And if not, we send you off with our love and our blessings.